What's going on, everyone? So, based on reports, the Portland Trailblazers are not interested in D'Angelo Russell for a trade. This is great for the Lakers, right? Rumor kind of going around. Did a video earlier about it. If you didn't check it out, go check out that video. But kind of rumor going around is the Lakers looking for like a Rui, Gabe Vincent, Cam Reddish, plus a first for a Jerami Grant, which would still give you D'Angelo Russell, which would still give you Jared Vanderbilt, right? Two positions of need. But to me, if you can pull something like that off and you still have D'Angelo Russell, yes, there is a big argument of keeping him. I've even talked about it, right? Because it's like, how do you replace him? However, I do think if you can get a bigger position of need, I think you do that. And for two reasons. One, I think you still have LeBron James, and in a pinch, he can always just run the point for you, right? I mean, he kind of does it anyway. I mean, even last year, right? Like, how many times were we screaming for D'Lo to be allowed the opportunity to actually run the offense, but it just went to LeBron? Two is JJ Redick, based on the type of offense he wants to run, you don't necessarily need that like playmaking type of point guard. You just need the initiator that gets the ball rolling, right? So you just need somebody that can bring the ball up, boom, get you in your actions, and you're off, right? And the idea is Austin Reeves. Little concern about that. I do think he's capable of being the initiator. He doesn't handle ball pressure great the full length of the court as we saw last year. Could that improve? Also adding a little muscle, adding a little weight, like that could help in that regard. But I do think he's a guy that you could just have him initiate it if need be, have some options there. But to me, if you can keep D'Angelo Russell, that's huge because that gives you $18.6 million in an expiring contract. That one, you can make a move immediately. Ideally, that's what happens. Ideally, you make a move ASAP, so that way you kind of have your roster ready to go for the regular season. However, I do think that worst case scenario, you have him at the trade deadline when that expiring contract now becomes that much more valuable because you have teams that thought they were going to be really good that aren't anymore. And you have those teams that don't want to be good that kind of are. And so both of those scenarios, they're like, we need to get rid of some guys here, right? Because one team's like, we don't want to pay all these guys because we suck. And then the other team's like, hey, we don't want to pay all these guys because we want to be bad, right? Trying to take to Cooper flag here. So to me, I do think that there may be that advantage point at some point. But if the Lakers are able to keep D'Angelo Russell, then that opens the door for so many different options. Valanciunas is a name that was thrown out that could still be linked to the Lakers. Maybe you get a Valanciunas and another piece for D'Angelo Russell. Could you go flip and go get a Wendell Carter Jr.? Could you package D'Lo and maybe something else and go get like a Colin Sexton and Walker Kessler? Obviously, you'd have to attach some firsts and stuff, but can you kind of do that? Like, let's say you are able to take one first, get Jerami Grant, right? Right now, Portland seems to be holding tight, but once you get to training camp or close to training camp, all of a sudden, right, teams kind of go, all right, we're probably not going to get what we want for Jerami Grant. No one's biting. Team's probably not going to bite anytime soon. Do we really want Jerami Grant going into the upcoming season when we have our young guys at his position that we want to get minutes and opportunity, right? So we're either taking minutes and opportunity from our young guys, right? So then all of a sudden that answer becomes more apparent of like, we should probably just take the Lakers package and be done with it, wash our hands, give our young guys an opportunity. Also, we're trying to tank here, right? They're a young team trying to rebuild. Cool, we kind of do that. If we do end up winning games, then at least it's with our young guys rather than like Jerami Grant. It's like, we don't even really want him on the roster. So I do think that there is that kind of wiggle room for a potential move. Now, I I don't think you just trade D'Lo just to trade D'Lo. I know some people feel otherwise. I know some people are just like, get him off the team. But a couple things that Jerami Grant would provide. One, D'Lo no longer is your third option. He is now your fourth or fifth option. So when he's lights out, right, you're really good, right? You're probably never losing those games now. And when he's bad, he's not so relied on at that point to where you're guaranteed to lose, essentially, right? It's like, man, D'Lo didn't show up. Just chalk that up in the L column, right? Because Jerami Grant coming to Lakers, he's immediately your third best player, right? So he's going to be the third guy. And then on any given night, you're going to have Reeves or D'Lo if they can pick it up, right? And then boom, you're in business. So I don't think you wouldn't have the reliance on D'Angelo Russell as much as you did the last year and a half, because you'd have a guy in Jerami Grant. And then also his playmaking ability go a long way, particularly when LeBron is out or he's sitting on the bench or whatever. I also think he'll be better under JJ Redick. I think he'll be much better under JJ Redick, which I think will go a long way. But to me, it's also just the Lakers didn't win a game outside of one without D'Angelo Russell. And his impact, particularly last season, and if he can kind of carry that over, is important. There is the concerns about the postseason, obviously. Obviously, once you get to play, it's like, is D'Lo going to choke? But again, like, if you don't have that over-reliance, then I think you're okay. Also, another big thing is that, like, D'Lo, so, like, you look at the first Denver series. D'Lo was basically unplayable, non-existent, awful. You look at the last series against Denver, he was actually good in like half the games, right? Like 2.5 out of the 5 games, 3 games, what out of the 5, right? Is that progress, right? So like, does he kind of get out of that playoff slump? Right? Because look, the more you're in the playoffs, the more experience you get, the more confidence you build, the better you become. And so I do think, like, you look at the first playoff series, you look at this most recent playoff series, there was a clear upgrade, right? There was a clear improvement from year one to last year. Can you continue to have improvement from last year to this year in the postseason? But D'Lo is just, he's going to help you win a lot of games in the regular season, which you need to win. Right? You got to win to get into the playoffs. So, and the problem is, like, who do you replace him with? And, like, all the options in free agency are gone. Right? Like, Markelle Fultz isn't going to be the playmaker that you need. Like Talen Horton-Tucker isn't going to be the playmaker that you need, right? Like, you're not going to really be able to, who else is, I think, like, who is Dennis Smith Jr. is still, like, he's not the playmaker that you need. Like, there's not really that guy out there that can provide that. Now, you do have, the guy behind me in LeBron James that can easily, in a pinch, operate and run the offense. So I'm not like, if a deal is there, take it. Right? Like, if you can go flip D'Lo for Wendell Carter Jr. and something else, or even just Wendell Carter, do that. Right? Like, you do that all day, in my opinion. Right? Because you do have, one, JJ Redick, the type of offense he wants to run, which you don't necessarily need a playmaking point. You just need initiators, right? You just need that guy to kind of get you into your action, and then boom, you're off to the races, and the ball's constantly moving. Guys are, crisscrossing, doing all the fancy stuff. That is best case scenario, right? And then in a pinch, hey, we're kind of stagnant. Like, things aren't really working right now. You could just give the ball to LeBron, and he can kind of just wheel and deal. I mean, even last year you saw that with D'Angelo Russell. And that's always going to end up being the default as long as LeBron's on the team. You're always going to have LeBron that when push comes to shove, you put the ball in your best player's hand, and he's going to make the decisions. So, again, I'm not super concerned with it, right? But it's more so having to make those adjustments and figuring it out. And then what happens if it doesn't work? And then also more specific, what about the games you don't have LeBron? Right? So like LeBron doesn't play. Right? Are you able to supplement that like you were with D'Angelo Russell? Because like last year when LeBron didn't play, D'Lo always had his best games because he got to run the offense, he got the ball in his hands, he was able to make the plays, he was able to go and score and play his game, right? So he was always better. That's why the Lakers were good without LeBron, right? Because you had that guy that could keep the ball rolling, so to speak. And so I think that is something that the Lakers would lack. Now, again, the proper offense, the proper sets, like you can kind of get away with it. Kind of have Austin Reeves as your initiator. I don't know about Jalen Hood-Schifino. I'm not in the camp like a lot of people where they're like, oh, he's a bust, he's this, that, and the other. I don't believe that. Not yet. I'm not saying he won't be. Again, we don't really have a real sample size to know either way. But because we don't have that actual sample size, it's kind of hard for me to be like, yes, like Jalen Hood-Schifino is finally going to get an opportunity if they trade D'Lo. To me, again, if something's there, you take it. If it's not, leave it alone. Don't do it. Just let it go type thing. But we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think, like, yes, it's great that they don't want D'Angelo Russell because now you get to at least have the point guard. Worst case scenario, you're looking to flip and trade him for another piece or two. Or do you have the concerns if you do trade D'Lo about the point guard position? Are you kind of like, well, we got LeBron, Austin Reeves can kind of be the initiator if need be, right? Jalen Hood-Schifino, you got him. At some point, you got to throw him to the fire. Kind of feel that way. I feel whatever your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.